All right, welcome everybody to the Jim Acosta Show. I got to quickly go to my friend Nick Valencia, my former colleague. He is out live for us, I believe, in California. He has been talking to some migrant workers, people who work with those migrant workers in that community out there. And they have been obviously just been put through the meat grinder, put through the ringer in terms of these ICE raids and just living in a constant state of fear in the United States of America. And I think California, and perhaps this is why we're seeing some of the frustration being expressed, and it's absolutely the reason why, from people like Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bass in Los Angeles. And there's Nick right there. And Nick, you've been just killing it, going independent as an independent journalist in recent days. And I love the fact that you're out there reporting from the field, and you've been talking to some of these migrant workers who have been living in fear, as I was just saying. Tell us about what you're finding out.
I'm following your lead, but thank you for the flowers, man. I'm out here in
Yeah.
Delano, California. This is Central Valley. And for a lot of you guys that are familiar with this part of California, it's Trump country. And I was shocked to find out what I've learned. This is the birthplace of the UFW movement. César Chávez was here on his 5-year-long protest boycott against these very farmers here. And there's no mural for him here. There's no street named after him. They've got a high school here,
Wow.
but it's almost as though his legacy, Jim, is just sort of being wiped away. And even talking to these people here, I was just talking to the foreman. They don't want to go on camera here. You see some of them picking the grapes that are going to end up on your table this summer for those pool parties. And the foreman here is saying, I'm not sure that Cesar Chavez did that much. We get paid $16.50 an hour. And to me, that is not just. It's 95 degrees out here right now, approaching 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock local. They
Wow.
stop allegedly around 105 degrees when it hits that.
Hmm.
You see this is the porta potties, how they keep clean. But this is the height of picking
Yeah.
season. These are the grapes that are going to end up, as I mentioned, at your pool parties. And I've spent the day with these field workers, and what they tell me has really shocked me. They're confused that the president has been putting a target on their back. They call it a purge, and they say to me, Jim, under different circumstances, that they might actually support the president. That was shocking to me to hear, but as they explained it, a lot of it has to do with their religion, their stance on homosexuality, and for them, in another circumstance, or basically in another situation, another world, they would be voting for Trump. They're conservatives here around here in this area. This really is sort of a bubble of generational Mexicans, people that have spent their time in the fields. And the people tell me here, they don't want you to feel sorry for them. This is sort of their everyday life and what they do. The kids, even on the high school football team, I spent some time yesterday with them. The student athletes, they're not doing 2-day summer football practices because they're out here at 6 in the morning till 3 p.m., working in the fields and then going to practice their summer football. And they're pretty good here.
Wow.
They're juggling, what is basically a grown man's schedule, working 8 hours, 9 hours in the hot pouring sun, and then going to be, student athletes. And they're regional team. They're winning regional championships. The conservative part here, though, just to get back to it, it really is sort of a bubble. If you get pulled
Yeah.
over here as a Latino, you're probably going to get pulled over by a Mexican cop. You get fired here, you're probably going to get fired by a Mexican employer. The foreman here, she's Latina.
Wow.
She is has her hands full right now. There is so much fear, obviously, for them. They think they're next. They don't believe the president when he says he's going to keep his hands off these farm workers. And for them, it's fear. And just let me give you some anecdotes here. I was talking to a man named Guadalupe earlier this morning. He's been in the fields for 30 years. He's undocumented. He says he doesn't understand it. He doesn't know the land that they would potentially send him back to if he was deported. He's made his life here. He's committed himself here. And this is
Yeah.
where he has built his American dream. And for that to be threatened right now, I mean, that's really concerning for a lot of these migrant farmers. Behind me here, most of these folks, I don't want to show their faces because they are undocumented. I was talking to the
Yeah.
foreman, asking her, what sort of plan do you have in place if those ICE raids come here? And you can see here, this is sort of the private property line, that cone right here. I'm on the
Yeah.
county property. And so she says, let's say you were with ICE, a federal agent. We would stop you here. We would ask you for a warrant. And that would give enough time for some of these workers to get to safety. What we've seen in Los Angeles, what I've been reporting on, is warrantless raids. I have to put alleged in front of my reporting or suspected in front of my reporting because some of these federal agents aren't identifying them as such,
Yeah.
themselves as such. It is a situation where a political climate, you have people here that have worked in these fields for 30 years and never felt the fear that they feel today. Jim?
Wow. Wow, and Nick, I mean, you're absolutely right when you point out, I mean, these people are literally right now, as we speak, as you're reporting to us, picking the food that will be in our supermarkets, on our dinner tables, in our summer barbecues, as you were saying. And, they've been getting mixed messaging from the Trump administration. Some days you'll hear Trump say, "Oh no, we're not going to touch the farmers. We're not going to touch those kinds of laborers." And then the Trump administration will say, "Oh, well, we're not so sure about that." And there are elements of MAGA who are saying they're not so sure about that. So it's a giant mess in terms of if you're on the ground doing the work, trying to sort out, well, what the policy is going to be. Do I need to live in fear or not? Uh-oh. We might have lost Nick there. Nick, can you hear me? I might have lost you, Nick. Oh, there you are.
Back here.
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, great. It's an issue out here for people that they don't believe the president when he says there's going to lay his hands off the farmers. Part
Yeah.
of what they're concerned about is what they've seen happen 2 hours south of them in Santa Barbara County, in Ventura County. We saw a marijuana farm be raided there. They did allegedly have a warrant when they conducted that operation. There have been tons of operations, though, where they've showed up without warrants. And even when they've caused so much chaos in this approach to immigration that even their good
Yeah.
faith efforts are being met by the community with suspicion. And people now, we're seeing that standing up, and the fear is resonating. Don't believe the president when he says he's going to keep his hands off the farmers. For them, Jim, they think it's just only a matter of time. They're at the height of their pay season right now. They say the
Yeah.
president has no idea the financial disastrous effect that would take place if they just stopped working for a week. Consider this a country without immigrants. Who's going to pick your food? Because I asked every single one of these migrants that I talked to,
Yeah.
when was the last time you saw a white American show up to do this job? Their answer, never.
Wow. And that's the truth. And we heard the agriculture secretary just the other day say, "Oh, well, there are plenty of able-bodied people on Medicaid. Maybe they can go out and do this type of work." It's just not going to happen. That is a line of BS that was offered up by that secretary the other day. But Nick Valencia, as always, great reporting from the field. Thank you so much for doing it. We appreciate it. And I know it's 95 degrees, so we'll let you get back and get cool inside the car, I hope. But thanks for what you do.
Man, love you, man. Take care.
All right, you too. Everybody follow Nick on all the socials, including here at Substack. Become a subscriber of Nick and his work.